One of the most common questions founders inventors ask us when they're developing a new product is, how long will it take to build? If you're building a software startup, it's sometimes possible to build and launch a product in a matter of weeks or months, but hardware product development is very different. Physical products must be engineered, prototyped, tested, and manufactured, and often certified before they can reach customers for sale. Each of these activities takes time, and the overall development timeline depends heavily on the complexity of the product that's being built. A simple consumer device may move from idea to launch relatively quickly, while complex systems such as robotics platforms or medical devices may need much longer development cycles to get through. And we're going to break down the timeline of hardware development so you can set realistic expectations and plan your resources effectively. So why does hardware take so much longer? Well, hardware products involve a combination of engineering disciplines and real-world constraints that do not exist with purely digital products. These constraints include physical component design, electronics engineering, mechanical engineering, embedded software development, prototype fabrication, manufacturing preparation, and regulatory testing. And each of these elements introduces additional complexity into the development process. Hardware products must also function reliably under real-world conditions. Achieving this reliability requires testing and refinement and can't always be rushed. And because of these factors, successful hardware development typically progresses through several structured stages. Hardware product development is commonly organized into 5 stages. These involve exploration, concept and proof of concept, prototype development, production preparation, and launch. Starting off with the exploration stage, this stage focuses on understanding the product opportunity and identifying potential risks before actual engineering begins. Because the exploration primarily involves research and planning rather than engineering builds, it's often one of the faster stages of development. However, taking sufficient time during exploration can significantly reduce the risk or costs of redesigns later in the process. Moving on to the second stage, this is concept and proof of concept. And once the opportunity has been explored, development moves into validating both commercial and technical feasibility. This stage includes 2 key parallel activities, the concept design and also the proof of concept testing. Concept design defines how the product will work and how users will interact with it. Proof of concept testing focuses on validating that the core technology required for the product can work as expected. So examples might include testing sensors or measurement systems, evaluating wireless communication performance, measuring battery life under expected operating conditions, and testing mechanical motion systems. Proof of concept testing is often iterative as engineers refine experiments to better understand the technology and its limitations. Moving on from there, we go to prototype development. And once both the concept and key technologies have been validated, development progresses to prototype development. Prototypes integrate the main subsystems into a working device. The prototype stage often requires collaboration across multiple engineering disciplines. And during this time, teams typically perform several iterations as they refine the design and resolve integration challenges as they go. Prototypes are often used for internal testing, investor demonstration, and early user feedback. And because of the complexity of system integration, this stage often represents a significant portion of the overall development timeline and budget. Then we move on to production preparation, which is when we have that working prototype, the next step is really to prepare it for manufacturing. So this stage focuses on transforming the prototype design into a product that can be produced reliably at scale at a lower cost. Activities often include things like design for manufacturing, or DFM as it's often called, supply chain development, choosing suppliers, regulatory, certification, testing, and a whole range of manufacturing trials. Manufacturing processes must be validated, supply chains must be established, test systems put in place, and regulatory requirements have to be satisfied. And once we've gotten through that, we're ready for launch. It's the final stage of development, and it involves launching the product actually out to customers. Finalizing packaging, user documentation, preparing marketing materials, establishing distribution channels. All of this is all part of the launch phase, and it really ends the development phase for startups. So what factors can speed up or slow down this entire process? Well, products with more complex electronics, mechanical or software systems typically require longer development timelines. Products that require certification, such as medical devices or wireless electronics, often have longer development timelines due to testing and compliance requirements. Component availability and manufacturing capacity can influence development schedules as well. So the size and experience of a development team can also influence timelines quite a lot. Developing a hardware product requires patience, planning, and careful engineering. So rather than focusing in on a single timeline estimate, startups typically will approach development as a structured process that reduces uncertainty step by step. And by progressing through each of these stages, such as exploration, concept, prototype, production preparation, and launch, teams can move from idea through to product launch.